Now, let me say something really obvious. A story is a thing that has many different elements in it that are all combined together to craft this piece of art. Like I said 2 seconds ago, it's crafted from many different elements. It could be the most basic ones that you see on something like a plot diagram, or it could be something more complex and nuanced like the themes and messaging that a story is trying to convey. For me, one of the most important elements to a story, no matter what genre it is or piece of entertainment that it is, are characters, in particular the protagonist. It's the character that we follow the most, so it's important to have a good protagonist since it creates a sense of enjoyment from watching or reading their journeys, and it provokes a bunch of different emotions out of me, you, or whoever is dabbling in the story. With me being the resident slice of life stan, I personally think when well done, a slice of life protagonist can bring a value of realism and relatability that is hard to get the same value from other genres in anime and manga. Since I love chatting with myself, I asked yours truly, me, who is my favorite slice of life protagonist. At first, I thought it was Sorta from the Pet Girl Sakura, so seeing him being undecisive about what he wants to do for his future in the beginning of the story, and then when he finally finds out what he wants to do, seeing him struggle with trying to strive for his goal was scary and relatable. And hell, the Pet Girl Sakura story and Sorta in particular is the reason why I decided to choose this lane of being a content creator or trying content creation. I'll say this, Sorta is probably in my top 3 of the most relatable characters out of any piece of entertainment that I've indulged in. But after that, a while of thinking about the question again, I realized there was a character that I like more than Sorta, and that is Fumio Tomozaki from Bottom Tier Character Tomozaki. Before I start my massive glazing session, I want to discuss my history on Bottom Tier Character. I found the anime around late 2022 when I was scrolling trying to find a new slice of an anime to watch. Saw Bottom Tier Character and decided to give it a try, and overall I thought it was pretty good. Nothing groundbreaking, but overall solid. Around 7 months after that, I was in a spree of rewatching anime. Like during this time, I rewatched Toradora. Eventually, I gave Bottom Tier Character to rewatch, and it went from pretty good to one of my favorites in the genre. And a huge reason for that is Tomozaki, and I broke it down into 2 reasons of why he is my favorite slice of life protagonist, and that is self-improvement and inspiration. I realized that I'm a huge sucker for self-improvement stories. Like, I eat that shit up. It's so fulfilling watching a character slowly progress into a positive direction. With Tomozaki being a writer who plays rip-off Smash Flash, progressing into a person that enjoys life and is still currently improving right now in the anime, I think that the thing I love most about his self-improvement is that it's non-linear throughout the story because it reflects real-life improvement. For example, with him at the end of the first season slowly regressing back to his old self because of an argument he has with Aoi. Now, this video is about my glorious king, so I won't be spending too much time talking about Aoi and Tomozaki's dynamic because that's a whole different story, but obviously I had to talk about it a little bit because it's very important to his character. Aoi, in a way, being his mentor to his journey towards self-improvement. And very early on, we see that Tomozaki sometimes gives a little bit of pushback to what she is saying, which speaks to him being a person that can say whatever comes to his mind, which I will discuss more in the inspiration section of the video. But ultimately, he caves in because he looks at her as a master or a S-tier character in life. Aoi does help him a lot with these little goals that she sets up for him. These goals that he tries to achieve are just so fun seeing him go through it and making progress. For example, everybody should go watch episode 2. Aoi tells him that he has to talk with 3 girls that are not her. Those scenes when he talks to them are some of the most perfectly awkward scenes ever. Seeing him succeed is so satisfying to watch. Now, what was my worry is that in the first episode, he seemed very pessimistic and very ignorant when it comes to life. In the beginning of the story, I thought I wouldn't like him, and I would have to wait until he makes major progress, like later on in the first season or something like that, to actually start liking him. But even when he starts making small progress in the beginning, his personality, or parts of his personality, really shine. Like his honesty, like I said earlier, him be able to speak whatever comes to his mind, his determination. Once he's locked into his goal of self-improving, he really gives it a best shot, and you can just really tell that he's really focused on trying to become the best person that he can be. And finally, his competitiveness. When he tries to face Aoi in the student election, it's some of my favorite things within the anime. Also, seeing him at the end of the first season, realizing that he still needs Aoi for his journey to self-improvement, even if they disagree on things. That decision just shows his improvement throughout the first season. Not to mention season 2, where he does arguably more compelling stuff, like him going into that Aoi mentor role for Tama, using a method that he used to help Tama change herself to a certain extent. Seeing those teachings that Tomozaki uses paying off, it's just so great. And later on, Tomozaki being on his journey to know what love is, and during that time learning about himself while trying to find the answers, getting all of his personality unleashed slowly through his improvement and seeing it be non-linear, it's just so amazing. He will regress, some things will give him more progression to his goal than other things. Wait, I do want to go back to his personality shining though. Tomozaki is helping out Izumi to get better in Smash Flash, and he goes on a big, long ass yapping session about the combos in the game, and anytime he speaks on Smash Flash, he's so comfortable and very talkative on the subject. Even though currently in the anime, he isn't the smoothest talker, where he started in the beginning compared to the end of season 2, he's definitely a lot less awkward when he's talking and can bring out the more talkative side of him sometimes. The thing that makes me love his self-improvement journey is the inner dialogue that he has. From each step, hearing him reflecting about it just makes it so relatable to me, because I do this all the time when it comes to content creation and life in general. His self-improvement isn't just him working on himself, but directly helping others, and that's what is leading me to talk about inspiration. Like I mentioned earlier, Tomozaki is one of the few characters in the anime that can speak whatever is on his mind. This leads to Mimizawa wanting to do the same thing and speak his heart out to Aoi, him helping Tama with being able to read the room, helping Fuka to pick the right path when it comes to her own self-improvement, which I can get into detail about Tomozaki and Fuka in another video. Like I said with Aoi, just way too much things to dive into. But I will say this, Mimi fans, I'm glad your bozo lost. All that glazing you niggas did for nothing. Fuka was clearly the right choice, but whatever. The improvements that Tomozaki goes through, not only affecting him, but having a positive effect on others, his direct or indirect helping of other characters, him being able to inspire other characters, kind of like Luffy. To be honest with you, I can't really make that comparison. I'm still in Water 7. But like I said, this factor just puts him over the top. Straight S tier character activity. And hell, it doesn't have to be major character changes like Miyazawa wanted to take the mask off and Thomas and Fuka wanted to improve themselves. Something that I think is very underrated, and I mentioned earlier, is when Tomozaki is helping Izumi to get good at Smash Flash. Okay, I'm done with this bit. Good at tack, fam. With him being very talkative, I just find those scenes to be very wholesome and entertaining. It just has the vibe of two friends chilling. Ultimately, this is to help Izumi to get closer with Nakamura. So even when helping out on small things, it's just so enjoyable to watch. But this isn't him just inspiring other characters one way or another. He also has inspiration on me. I look inside myself and I look at the way I was improving myself in the strategies or tactics that I was using and seeing if they were similar or different to compare it to Tomozaki. Even took some things that he has said and implemented into my real life. The reason he has become my favorite slice of life protagonist is his relatability through his journey and watching that bleed over to helping other characters out. Out of all the protagonists that I've seen in this genre, I have been the most invested and glued with his journey. But hey, leave your favorite slice of life protagonist in the comments below, because I want to know, and I actually respond to all the comments because I'm gonna have like 5 of them, so I have the most free time in the world. With all that said, like always, have a great day, y'all.